All right. Are we live? We are live. All right. We got this like special. Let me get you. Let me start over here. Let me make sure. Let me get the camera. Get the camera set up a little bit different here. I got to get this set up. I got to get this official. So, hello YouTube, how we doing? Hello Instagram. Let me test, make sure that the mic isn't muted. Every time I do this restream, it always goes muted. So, um, let me know. Holla, holla, holla. How we doing today? We're over here on YouTube and we're over here on Instagram. And so I'm trying to get this set up so that I found I got a message the other day on YouTube. So we have 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, believe it or not. Hello. Okay, so we are live over here on Instagram as well too. So hello everybody. How are we doing? What's going on today? Our Mindset Monday. We're back to our normal sound is on. Okay, perfect. We're back to our regularly scheduled programming. So every Monday we do these mindset, almost like mindset training, kind of mindset. How do we say I always say Mindset Monday, right? One of the things that we like to talk about here on Mindset Monday is more or less trying to get ourselves set up for the week, set up for the month, set up for the season, set up for whatever it is. Sometimes we can get a little crazy. Sometimes we go on a tangent, but it allows you a chance to ask me some questions. Maybe you want to talk about your mindset. Maybe you agree with what I'm talking about today. And maybe we can go on and have a good kumbaya. Or maybe you're going to be like, wow, this is a learning experience. And this is something that I can take away with for the next couple of days. So let's get into it. So one of the things that I think a lot of us, and I was just on a trip with my girlfriend, we went to go see my grandma, and a lot of things that we were seeing was just, it's more older people. If you've ever been to Arizona, it's a lot of older individuals, right? And the thing is you find that when you watch and you observe a lot of their actions, what they do, they show up they go to the grocery store at a specific time, they go to the gym, they show up to their appointments, they show up, they do things, they start setting stuff. And what you find out is that they're not goal oriented, right? They're not goal oriented. They have routine, they have standard, they have structure, they have they have structure really when it comes down to it, right? And so you start looking back and you look at a lot of us, and what we end up doing is we set goals. I think a lot of times, especially going into 2025, we start setting goals for ourselves. Like I want to go ahead and I want to start going to the gym 3 or 4 or 5 days a week. I want to start eating better 2 to 3 days a week. I want to start tracking food. I want to start doing things. And what we end up doing is we focus so much on the goals at hand, we don't focus on the standards and the practices on the day that we live, our non-negotiables. Now, goals are what we aim for, right? When we think about it, right? Goals are what we aim for. Goals are kind of future oriented when you think about it. When we should be focusing on standards. What are your standards? What do you show up for on a day-to-day basis, right? What do you do? What are some of your non-negotiables, right? Especially over here on YouTube. What are some of your non-negotiables on Instagram? What are your non-negotiables? Like we all know we all got to brush our teeth, right? We brush our teeth in the morning, and if you don't, you're nasty, right? If you don't, you're nasty, right? If you don't brush your teeth in the morning, you're nasty. I don't even want to get there. But what are your standards, right? What are the things that you really need to do on a day-to-day basis that get you up, going, go? Some people it's coffee, right? Some people it's I got to get myself some coffee. But I want to talk about how the mindset shift from you going from goal oriented all the time and start focusing on the way that you set your standards and the way that you live your life is going to be something that's going to really change and resonate. And that's something that, I saw again when I was in Arizona. I'm just seeing how these people, they're showing up, right? They're going to the gym, they're doing these things, and they're 90, 80 years old, right? Older individuals. It was an old gym. I don't know if you saw my stories, but there were older people, and they're in there just, you could tell they go in there day to day. And I was talking to some of them. They're in there day to day. Oh yeah, this is part of what I do. Like this is what they do. This is them brushing their teeth. They know at 10 a.m. they're going to show up here. Why? Because it's important to them. And so that's one of the things that we all want to do is that like feel like we all want to get stronger. We all want to set these goals going into 2025, but we realize that we don't actually have the fundamentals at hand to help us to actually reach our said goal. So how the hell are we ever going to reach the goal that we want to in 2025 if we don't even have the basic standard and fundamentals in play rather than saying like, okay, I'm going to work out 5 days. I got a couple messages while I was gone. Nick, I can't wait to get started. I'm going to work out 5 days a week, but I'm going to wait until January. Like this new me is going to be like, you just wait. And I'm thinking to myself, why are we waiting? Because we know that we're procrastinating and we just want to say, all right, I'm just going to push this aside. But when it comes down to it, we realize that the actions that we do on a day to day basis, the standards that you do on a day to day basis, are what actually make the habit that we're thriving for. Right. So if we're trying to change our habits, we're trying to change our behaviors. This starts by doing and setting standards, not by setting goals. Right. Because goals we have to reach. But if we don't have the actual, material and the tools right now to get said goals, right? Some of us, we just need to get started. I know if you set goals and you're relying on motivation to get there, what ends up happening? We don't even get started, and we all know motivation doesn't last, and we all know that's going to be short-lived, right? We always say if you want something worthwhile, you never rely on motivation to get there. That ain't gonna do it, right? I haven't talked in a while. I'm gonna lose my damn voice. But we know a lot of people, we want to lose weight, right? We want to lose weight. I got a message, Nick, I need to lose 60 pounds. It's going to be my year. I'm like, okay, well, how are we going to lose 5? What do you mean? I need to lose 60. Well, if you need to lose 60, you need to lose 5, right? We need to set the standards. Are you walking? Are you watching are you drinking water? Are you sleeping well? These are the standards we need to start thinking about rather than these goals that we have envisioned that we always know we're going to set for ourselves on New Year's, but then we don't have any structure or any or standards in place that we're actually going to help and reach those goals. And what happens when we do them? Are we just going to go back to the old place? No, we need to start figuring out what are some standards that we want to necessarily live by. And this all is going to be different from other people, right? Whether you have a health ailment that you need to maybe start focusing on, maybe it's your aches and pains. Maybe you do need some motivation. Maybe you just need to get the hell and start doing something. But the reality is if we're focusing always on the goals, we don't have the standards set in place to help us get there. So that's what we need to focus on. So the standards that I'm talking about is saying like, okay, I know that I need to be more active, right? I know I need to be more active. And over here, YouTube, sorry if I'm just focused. I'm staring over here on the Instagram. But if you want to be more active, we have to start prioritizing it, right? So if we prioritize it, oh Nick, well, I don't have a half hour. I can't do 25 minutes, but you can do 10, right? So what if we do 10 minutes of just something, right? Just getting up, moving around, maybe you go for a walk after dinner, and that's it, right? You're moving more. You're going to move. That's a little bit more. You're setting the standards. And you go, you know what? That actually isn't a bad idea. And you say to your husband, you say to your spouse, you say whatever, you say, you know what? Since we're not moving a lot and we do want to lose weight, why don't we go for a walk every time, like 10 minutes after we eat dinner? And then next thing you know, that starts to be your standard, right? So now you're starting standards. But then you say, you know what? I want to boost this up a little bit more, right? I say, we got our walking down. Why don't we actually start setting a step goal for every time after dinner we do, I don't know, maybe 3,000 steps? Okay. And then you see how this starts to become a habit because you set it as a standard. You didn't set it as a goal. We set it as a standard, right? We set it as something that like, all right, well, this is gonna be, let's see what happens because it creates habit, and then it's going to create the result. Now, this is something very simple that we can do in a lot of our, mindset work, right? And a lot of the tasks that we need to do at hand. And let me ask you this. Are you focusing on your health for 2025? Maybe you're focusing on your relationship. Maybe you're focusing on knowledge. Maybe you're focusing on family, right? Maybe you really want to be connection, right? Whatever it is that you're focusing on, let's start to break it down and figure out what is that mindset shift that we need to focus on, right? Is it something that is very simple, like saying you're not doing short term goals, right? Maybe you want to set short term standards and long term habits. Well, we really have to, it all starts with identifying, right? And let me know over here on YouTube what identify, right? Any areas that you find maybe you're slipping at, right? Where are you falling short? Is it the fitness? Is it the self-care? Is it the family? Is it the relationships? Let me know, YouTube. Where are you falling short at? What are you focusing on 2025? And then I want you to think, what are some of the small actions that you can take, right? If you know you're focusing on fitness and you know you're drinking Pepsi and a whole bunch of shit, maybe you start drinking some water, right? Maybe you start there, right? You start with you know what? Every morning, I'm going to drink a bottle of water before my coffee. That's simple, right? That's simple. That's a little standard that you could do. Now you might be pissing a lot throughout the day, but hey, you're drinking your water, you're getting yourself together. You know what? I will get 5,000 steps no matter what today. Every day, because that's just who I am. I'm going to embody the person who is going to be a 5,000 steps a day type of individual. And now maybe for some you might say, "Well, Nick, that's only 5,000 steps. What the hell is that going to do?" For some you might say, "Holy shit, that's a lot." Right? But we have to set a standard. What is your standard? Where is it going to be? Because if we could set this standard, this is what's going to help propel you to get to the place you want to be. It's very simple. Now, you could even take it a bit further and say, "Well, you know what? I'm actually going to do water in the morning, and then I'm going to set the standard of walking maybe after my meals, and then I'm going to disconnect from my cell phone." Oh, whoa, for 5 minutes before I go to bed. Holy shit. Now, if you do, or you make sure you're scrolling on and you're watching some of my videos, right? Let's make sure. But you might be wondering, like, well, damn, like, world, this sounds great, but where do I even start? Like, how do I even get myself into this position of figuring out what the hell I need to change, right? And so, actually, I didn't realize I didn't even say that. If you comment vision, I think I have it going live. If you comment the word vision, I am actually announcing. Well, I guess we already talked about it, but we're going to do the vision board training on on Sunday, wow, December 29th. So if you comment vision, you will get a comment vision to sign. I'm typing this in. Sign up for the vision board event. So it's going to be a live event on Zoom, and we're going to have everybody. Now you could do either a like a cork board, or we'll do it on Canva. We're going to do it all together. If you are my client, comment vision to sign up for the vision board event, and then let's pin that. Okay, cool. So if you comment vision, it should send it over to you. I think I have my automation set up. I think so. I think I did it before I left. I think I hit live. I'm not entirely sure. If I didn't, I'll have to double check. Let me see. But if you comment vision, essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a vision board training, right? So essentially we're either going to be, you could do it live on, or we're going to be doing it live, but you could do it like really like glue stick type way. Like you can glue stick it, you can put it on a board, you can have it like that, or you could do it on, oh, Jenny, vision. Let me know if you get the automation. Let me know if it sends it over to you. You'd have to click through two little buttons. But since you test it, let me just double check. And it's going to be free. Yep, it worked. Just got the message. Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a free thing. And so, yeah, it's going to be very simple. It's going to be very straightforward. We're going to be doing that. But it's like, how do you sign, because when we do these, when we do these Mindset Monday things, right? It's one thing for us to be like, or for me to be like, all right, here, kind of let you know some of my thoughts, some of my ideas, some of my coaching. But when it comes down to it, it's like we really have to put it on paper. And I guess if you've never read, it is 80. You actually achieve 85% more if you write it down on paper. Did you know that? So if you write your goals down on paper, or you write your vision down on paper, you will actually, chances are 85% more, you're going to actually achieve it. So that's something to really envision when we're doing this vision board. I don't know if you've ever done it, or if maybe you're curious and I don't know what the hell a vision board is. Well, this is good. We're going to be talking about it for the next 2 weeks. It'll be right after the holidays. So after everything's you can kind of be like, all right, it's time for me to focus on my damn self. So this is the thing, right? When we're trying to figure out about getting into standards, we're trying to figure out goals, we're trying to do all this stuff. When it comes into the new year and it comes into where we have to start setting these standards in for ourselves, we have to realize that it's the smallest consistent actions. And then if you're over here on YouTube, make sure that you do actually I don't know if ManyChat has, I think it's owned by Facebook, so I don't know if I can send it essentially over to you. But just make sure you message me on Instagram and we'll get it. You'll hear from me. I'll talk more about it here in the future. But comment vision, sign up for the vision board event. It's on December 28th. And if you sign up, just so I know who's going to be in there, we're going to have my clients and everybody and whatnot. So one of the things that we do want to talk about, though, is, again, setting the standards rather than setting the goals. So, again, when we think about going into the new year, what is the one thing that you've always told yourself you were going to do, but I don't want to do? Maybe I'll save it for next year, or I'll save it for next week, or I'll save it for this other time, and I'll save it for, we always say we'll save it for another time, and we keep procrastinating. But what is that one thing? And I want you to think about it. Think about it for a little bit and be like, you know what? I've always did tell myself I did want to start doing that. Like maybe it's a jigsaw puzzle, whatever it is. Maybe you wanted to start an Etsy store. Maybe you wanted to actually find a date, whatever it is, right? Think about that. What do you want to focus your mind on and yourself on for this year, right? Because if you're not growing, you're staying the same, right? If you're the same person that you were last year at this time, we got to change that going into this year, right? Especially if you're in the community and you found me, we got to make sure that we are progressing, right? And it's not going to be linear, right? We go up and we go down, we go up, we go down, but we go up and we want to make sure that we're doing that, right? So I want you to think of what was that thing that you've been kind of holding off on? What's that thing you've been procrastinating? And just realize, let's start to break it down, because it's not that goal that we need to attain. It's the small little standards that we need to start setting up for ourselves. So what is the little things that you can start to do to reach that said goal? And especially this year, because it's 2025, or it's going to be 2025. So it's going to be new year, new goals. That's the mantra: new year, new goals. So when you think about that new year, new goals, I want you to think that thing that you've been trying to do, you erase that from your mind, and we start with something completely new. Start with something completely new, something completely different, that you're going to go ahead and say, okay, well, I tried maybe a little bit. I tried for maybe a year. I tried for a week, but let's start and let's set something up. And then once you start to do that, you can start to say, okay, now this is something that I want to do rather than something I have to do. And then you start to see you start making the little constant little actions over time. And then it becomes something habitual rather than this big goal that you set yourself up for and then maybe you fail. So we don't want to wait for tomorrow. We don't want to wait for 2025. We don't want to wait. We want to do something now. And so this is something that you could do now: is you comment vision, get yourself signed up for the vision board event that's going to happen on the 28th, because now you're putting it into your mind, right? Maybe it's just a little bit, but you want to start planting the seed now, before it's like you hear everybody, oh, well, I'm doing this 2025 new goals, I'm going to do, and then you're like, I got to figure out something, and you're just doing it to follow the herd. We don't want to do that. We want to start planting the seed now, so that when it comes to, we already have some sort of an action. We already have some sort of a standard that we've been putting in place to kind of get ourselves set up for the new person that you'd want to try to become in 2025. And it's really that simple, right? It really is that simple. You just got to want to do it. That's the hard part. We could say all the stuff in the world, right? We can make all the dreams. We could say, hey, I'm going to do this. Hey, I'm going to do that. But without action, that's just noise. Like, let's be real. Let's stop the noise. Let's stop the bullshit and start taking the action and start taking the steps that you want to do, but you're just too afraid to get yourself going, right? Like, we want to be able to go and be, what's that, Jenny? This got the wheels in my brain turning, right? You got to. Because we reach the goals. After more than 2 years, I've reached my goal weight, have a fitness health plan in place, but it's like, what's next? What's now? And the thing is it's structure. It's now making this part of your day, right? And the thing is you got a great routine, right? You're showing up, you show up for yourself, but it's like, now what? Maybe you got that energy, you got that exercise, and you have a chance to go out and maybe you challenge yourself. Maybe now you're starting to do competitions. Maybe you're doing a race. Maybe maybe you're signing up for a rec league, sports. Maybe you're using your fitness to help something else that's going to help. And you never know where it's going to take you, right? I got clients who are in their 50s and they started exercising, and they play ice hockey, right? So she's playing ice hockey, and you see her on my stories, and we got her kickboxing, we got her doing all this stuff. Whenever we first met, she didn't even know how to do a squat, right? These are all things that I try to install and say, hey, let's make it fun. The reason that you want to go ahead and do this lunge is so that we can get stronger in hockey, so that you can push off. And then now you attach this exercise to a why, and then you want to do it more, right? And sometimes that's just what we need. It's just like, you got the standards in place, but now you just need to figure out what the hell it is that you want to do. Right. And sometimes it just starts with little simple things, but really, it doesn't necessarily even need to be health. It can be relationship. It can be goal setting. Um, it could be just something that is going to be challenging, right? I know for me, I wish I could still play hockey if that asshole didn't break my ankle. I would love to be playing hockey right now, but I can't. I can't even run. So it's just like I have to pivot and I have to switch. I hit the bag, I do my cardio over here, but I can't run. Like, we went for a hike, and this is actually a really good story about why fitness is really important, right? So my grandma, she went on this hike with us. It was like, I don't know, it was a mile, it was like 2 miles up in a mountain to go to the petroglyphs. And I still got to make my post so I can show you. But she was talking about bad knees. She was like complaining. She's like, Nick, my knees are hurting. And I'm like, well, why'd you tell us to go on this hike? It's rocky. It's all crazy. But she made it about 45 minutes before she turned around. And that was 45 minutes one way. Now she had to go 45 minutes back. And the next day she said, you know what? My knees don't hurt. That is so weird. Like, my knees don't hurt. Why is that? Why did that? Why, Nikki? Why does my knees not? Why did they not? And it's because you used it, right? But the thing is all the exercise that she was doing beforehand allowed her to at least go and do an hour hike, right? At 80 years old, 85 years old. But the thing is we realize that a lot of times when we don't move and we don't use the muscle, we don't use our body, we end up getting hurt and you end up getting complacent. So you have to challenge yourself so it adapts. That's what the body, that's why we exercise, is for the adaptations. And for her, she was able to go for the hike. Her body was able to adapt from it. And then it's like, I'm no longer in pain for the day, or for however long. But that's something that we have to do, is we have to set the standards for ourselves so that when the time comes that you say, hey, I want to go on a hike when you're 85 years old, you can fucking do it, right? That's the reason why we do this. I mean, hey, if you want to look better naked, cool, that's fine. But you know what? When it comes down to it, you gotta start somewhere. You gotta have some sort of, you gotta attach it to something. You want to get better for your sport, great. You want to look better naked, cool. You want to have better energy, even better. You want to live longer, great. But we have to start attaching some standards to these goals, and then we could start to get ourselves to the place we want to be. But we have to start setting standards, right? Goals are great, but standards are what shape your life when it comes down to it. The goals are great, but standards are what's going to shape you, your life, and the person you are. That's why it's like you see so many people talk about the morning routine, right? We talk about the morning routine. Everybody who is any bit successful will tell you a lot of it starts with their morning routine. Why? Because it's standards that you set for yourself. Because you wake up, you focus on these things, you do the things that you want to do, you do the things that you know is going to help propel you to the place that you want to go. You start doing the little actions on a day-to-day basis. You stop waiting for motivation, right? YouTube, you stop waiting for motivation, sitting on the damn couch wondering what the hell's going on, watching Netflix, watching movies, watching YouTube. That's great, but you also got to stop waiting for the motivation, and you got to start taking some damn action. Stop. Don't wait for perfection. Take some damn action. Live by better standards, right? Set yourself up for better standards. And you start to realize at that point that shit, maybe I need standards. Maybe that's what I've been missing this whole time. Because you don't need, I think everybody always says, like, oh, I gotta wait. Oh, I gotta wait for New Year's, or I gotta wait for the sun to rise over in the east and set over in the west. And I need to wait. I'm waiting for the moon to come down and smack me in the head. Like, we're waiting for these moments that are going to be like the perfect moment. Like, all right, Jackie, this is going to be it. This is your moment. Like, we're waiting for the sign. And guess what? That never comes. That never comes. We have to take that. We have to make, and we have to apply, and we have to start setting these standards for ourselves, because when we do that, small, consistent actions always beat big, old, unrealistic goals. Let's be real. So don't wait for tomorrow. Start doing something today. It could be having the water before your coffee, right? It could be having steps after you eat. It could be setting yourself in the morning. You don't scroll on your phone. You do 10 minutes of yoga. You do 10 minutes of walking, right? We set standards for ourselves, and it could be very simple, right? And some people might call you crazy. But whatever it is, you start setting the standards for you as yourself. These are going to turn into habits, which then therefore turn into lifestyle changes, which then turn into behavior changes. So don't forget, small steps today, they lead to big, old steps tomorrow. So I mean, I could sit here and talk about this stuff all day long. I'm losing my damn voice because I haven't talked like this in all day. So it's been a week. What was it? Wednesday. So I'm losing my damn voice. So just remember, we got to start setting standards for ourselves rather than the actual setting goals for ourselves. Because if we could start to make that mindset shift, we're not always just waiting and, waiting for goals, right? No, you start setting standards and it just becomes you as a person. If you can start setting that you as a person, you don't understand what can end up happening, right? You could be a completely different individual. I know it because it happened to me. It happened to hundreds of clients that I've worked with, because we started setting individual things on a week by week basis, implementing these on a week by week basis, rather than saying, here, this is what you got to do, and just give you a whole bunch of homework where you're like, you're drowning because it's just a tyranny of choice. It's like this book I got, right? I got this modern yoga. I can't even talk. The Modern Yoga Bible. I'm going to start showing some of these exercises that I've seen out of here. But I mean, it is so many damn poses. I'm like, holy smokes. Like, what do I even, it's almost a tyranny of choice. If you were just open it up and start looking, you're like, oh my gosh, I never thought of that. Oh, that's a different way. But you don't start like that, right? You start with the first page. Okay, let's go from the beginning. And then we're going to go, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, right? There's parts to it in a book. So if you're trying to change your standards, what are you doing? You can't just start and be like, I got to do all of this. That's overwhelming. So we start with the first page, and then you start implementing one thing after another. And then sure enough, you actually realize this becomes who you want to be. It becomes the person you want to be. So we could talk about that later on going into the future. But make sure, if you do want to sign up for the vision board training, we're going to be doing this on the 28th of it's free to join. It's going to be on the 28th. It's the 28th of December. We're going to do it on Zoom. We're going to do it live. If you want to have your camera on, you can. If you don't, whatever. Just a way to kind of connect. We're going to do some giveaways in there. It's going to be the new year. We're going to have some stuff. It's just going to be a fun time. It's going to be like, I don't know, maybe like a little holiday party type thing, but free to join. If you want to, you can get yourself, and I got some special announcements that are going to take place in the vision board training. So you don't want to miss that. It's going to be a fun time. So we're either going to do it, you could do it at home, like DIY with corks and a whole bunch of shit, or I could show you how to do it on Canva, which is a free app that you can use. And I got some templates that I will make, and I'll send it over to you. So we're going to be talking about this all week. And so if you want to, just make sure you sign up, comment vision, and then I will send you a message. But other than that, thanks for tuning in. And yeah, I will see you on our next live stream. We're going to be doing another live stream on Wednesdays. Remember, we go live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. And then we do our yoga and Pilates class on Sundays at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. So we're back to our regularly scheduled programming over here on the live streams, over here on YouTube, over here on Instagram. So thanks everybody for tuning in. And Kathleen Vision, I don't want to end it and make sure that you get it. Let me know if you get let me know if you get the message. So I don't want to ruin it. And let me know. And then if you're over here on YouTube, that's one of the things as well. You're going to have to go to my Instagram and send it over there. I'm going to announce it on my stories here in a minute, and once we're done with the live stream, so that maybe everybody else can kind of join. But we're going to have clients. It's going to be the community. Some of my clients We're going to have some giveaways, have some good time. I don't want to say, yeah, we're going to have live music and all this other stuff. Yeah, we're going to have live music. We're going to, I don't know. It's going to be it's going to be a fun time. But essentially, if you comment vision, I'll send you an automated message through my automations, through my little robot, and it'll send you over to my form. We'll get you all signed up. Make sure so that I can keep in contact with you. Just give me your email. I'll send you some more information as the time comes on. Yeah, and we'll go ahead and we're going to set some vision for 2025, build some muscle. Where's my little fat thingy? That's over there. Oh, well. We're going to build some muscle, set some goals, set some intentions. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time. So let's make 2025. Remember, new year, new goals, and I'll see you Wednesday, 2 p.m. Peace out, everyone. All right, YouTube. That was our Monday mindset training talk, whatever you want to. It's always hard. I got to get some I always say it. I always got to get some other cameras over here. So we keep this. Let me know if you hear me. Hopefully it's not muted. Hopefully everything's okay because I have my notes up. I didn't even see you. So awesome. Let me know how everybody does. And again, if you want to sign up since you're over here on YouTube, you want to sign up for the vision board training, make sure that you message me on Instagram. I got to figure out a way to do it on YouTube. But once we do, we'll get it cracking. So awesome, everyone. I will see you